Hi everybody, Hando the Honda Mackinnon here, and here we go again, ranking stuff. So, as you can see from the title, today it's TheHande ranks the best looking computers. This is something I teased when I ranked all the different versions of Windows. This is going to be a slightly different kind of ranking from that one. I mean, it has to do with old computer stuff, but this time we're going to be ranking all these computers over here based entirely on which one I think is the prettiest. So this is a beauty contest, more or less. So again, I'm saying this only to stress the point that I'm not judging these by versatility or how useful they were or historical significance or anything like that. This is just a random assortment of certain computers, certain fairly well-known computers for the most part, and I will be ranking them based entirely on which ones I think are the prettiest. And once again, I have given the rankings funny names because I love doing that. So number one, the top ranking will be C++ for looks is a perfect A, because I don't believe in S rank. It's pretty and eggshell. I'm not sure this is actually eggshell. This is kind of like a, well, I guess it sort of is. It's a brownish yellow. And eggshell, of course, was a popular color, although not too many eggshell computers here. A couple, yeah. iMediocrity, so yeah, that's my non-too-subtle jab at Apple computers. More like C60 board, you know, in reference to the Commodore 64, which is also up there. And PC, that one didn't quite work out. Okay, and then for the selection of computers this time around, we have you will notice a lot of these are from the 80s. It was a time when the expectations for what a PC should look like were very much different from today. So, you know, that's why I thought it would be fun. You know, most of these, so like I said, most of these are from the 80s. A couple of them are from the 70s, and one or two are like 90s and maybe like somewhat modern. Represented by these four computers is the Apple line of computers. I wasn't going to put every single computer that they've come out with, just these ones. I was thinking about putting the Apple II up here as well, but because of some of the other entries, because some of these look very similar, I decided maybe not. I'll just pick these ones because these are the most distinct looking. Then we have the Commodore line, starting with the PET and ending with the Commodore 128. Then we have a couple of Sinclair machines. This is the ZX80 and the ZX Spectrum. These are representing the quote-unquote traditional PCs. So we have a TRS-80, an IBM PC, and a Compaq One portable computer. And then down here we have two representatives from the Atari camp, the Atari 800 and the Atari ST. And then finally a couple of one-offs. We have an Silicon Graphics computer and an Amstrad. And we'll look at those a bit later. So the way I normally love to go about doing these is like I usually rank my top favorite and my least favorite. All right, so my all-time favorite is the Commodore PET. This is a computer from the 70s, and let's take a look at the PET. And I mean, just look at it. I mean, just to look at it. That is. Yeah, that is this is a cute computer. And a YouTube channel that I'm going to probably mention more than a couple of times during this video. There's this great YouTube channel called The 8-Bit Guy. Wait, David Murray, I think his name is. So he has exactly the same name as the guitarist from Iron Maiden. And he restores old computers. And he has a really cool video about the Commodore PET. And the Commodore PET is already, I just love these like all-in-one units where it's the keyboard, and then you have the cassette drive, and then the monitor on top. Like, this thing looks so cool. I mean, this came out in the 70s. And then on top of that, the other thing that I love about it is that the way you open up this computer is that you basically lift up the front of it. So monitor and all goes up, and then the bottom of the computer stays stationary. So just like you would go inside a car, basically. All right. And then we come to the thankless task of assigning the ugliest computer. Oh yeah, and also with the Commodores, I didn't put any Amiga computers up here. Actually, for specifically the reason that most of the Amiga computers don't actually look that hot. And I hate to say this, but I think the definitive loser for this round is the Atari 800. This thing looks like a fucking typewriter. It does not look like a computer. The way this thing works, by the way, is that you actually lift this hood up, this middle part, and there's actually a cartridge port. So you can probably guess from that most people didn't. Oh yeah, and they even had a little Atari button because, you know, this was an Atari computer, you know. And yeah, there's no contest here. This computer, this is just a butt ugly computer. It's kind of more, well, not butt ugly. Let's say it's a boring looking computer. For the same reason, I'm also going to demote into the bottom rank the VIC-20. I mean, this thing looked like a typewriter too. Okay, let's stick on the ugly camp because I don't think we can discuss ugly computers without discussing the Apple Lisa. I mean, Jesus Christ, what the hell is this? I mean, the keyboard kind of comes out of here. I mean, this thing looks so goddamn janky. It doesn't look stable. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure they designed it to be stable, but god damn it, this thing is awful looking. You know what? It's actually kind of cute. Like I said, I like these all-in-one units. Let's give a little bit of love for the Lisa. We won't put it all the way down here. We'll put it in the more like C60 board because, you know, it is an ugly ass computer, but it's not like completely awful. The TRS-80. This is another computer from the 70s. The Commodore PET was the first one, and god damn it, this thing looks cute. I mean, it too is, I'm gonna be honest, like, this thing looks kind of ugly as well. But there's something kind of like, there's just something really adorable about this. I think the TRS-80 is just fantastic looking, like, you know, kind of a clunky looking machine overall, but I like it. I actually do like it. So this is a tough pick for me. You know what? I'll put it in pretty an eggshell. This is an entirely subjective taste kind of business. So, but I'm gonna put it there because I think it's cute. I think it's goddamn cute. All right, let's talk about the Apple. And honestly, I do think these old Macs look pretty damn cute. I mean, we have in Finland we had a nice little nickname for these things. We called these things. And now I completely forgot what it is. Birdhouses. We call these birdhouses because they kind of look like a birdhouse. So, you know what? I cannot deny this design is iconic, and so I think it does deserve to go all the way up here. I mean, I think it actually looks really cute. Okay, I was really mean. I was really mean towards the Atari 800. So let's look at the Atari ST. The Atari ST, I've actually done a video about this computer a long time ago when I did the story of the downfall, about the downfall of Commodore. And so this computer was supposedly a direct competitor with the Commodore Amigas, and in a way, it is actually kind of a ripoff of the Amiga. Because there was for a couple of years, Atari's computer division and Commodore, and Atari, which was at this point it was actually owned by Jack Tramiel, so one of the founders of Commodore, ironically. They had this legal back and forth about like whether or not Atari was allowed to release the ST, because the ST was kind of like a weird clone of the Amiga. It had a lot of the same functionalities and everything. And to be fair, it never became as popular as the Amiga computers because, ironically, this one actually was more like a professional computer. So it had a niche following. Now, personally, I think this actually looks pretty damn slick. I especially love this, the diagonal fan, the fan vent. I love this these function keys that are all up here. Yeah, you don't see this kind of stuff in a lot of computers. And this came out in 80, I want to say 87. It might have come out a bit earlier than that, but I think 87 was the year when this came out. And for 87, like, goddamn, this is actually not a bad looking computer at all. Of course, it had the butt ugly Atari operating system, not a desktop, but what the equivalent kind of was at the time. So I think this actually looks pretty damn slick. I actually like it. So I'm gonna put it. Ooh, I think it has to go up here with the TRS 80. All right, I gave the Commodore VIC a bit of a hard time, so let's admit it that Commodore 64, I like it. I think this is actually a pretty cute computer too. I like the little rainbow lines that they put in the logo just to add a spludge, like a little splatter of color into what is kind of a pretty damn dull looking. I mean, this still feels, this looks still more like a typewriter than a computer would. For that, I am gonna. This is actually kind of a tough one. Like, iMediocrity makes it sound bad, but I actually do. But this isn't a bad thing. I'm saying this actually kind of looks. I think this looks nice. It doesn't look as nice as these, but okay. Wait a minute. I'll put it. I'll put it up here. I'll put it into pretty in eggshell, just barely. And it actually is in eggshell color, so it actually makes sense. All right, and another Apple product. I think I have to talk about the Apple products. I want to knock them out of the park. So here's the original Generation 1 iMac. And I gotta admit, these things look fucking slick. I think these were beautiful. And I actually like the multiple colorations of these. Yeah, these things, I never got to use them, but I definitely think this was a very, very elegant design at the time. Like, with all the PC towers and everything taking up so much space. Like, this was actually pretty cute. So, yeah, Mac gets this one. Mac is kind of owning the top tiers. All right, and here we have. I was trying to look for it, but I'm not sure I managed to. This might not be it, but this a Generation 1 MacBook, but it is a MacBook, and as a MacBook, it deserves to go down here. All right, so we haven't put anything in the iMediocrity, so we have one more Commodore machine left, and it's the Commodore 128. It looks like a modern keyboard, basically. Essentially, it does. This is what every freaking keyboard... And this came out in the mid-'80s, which is... I do think this is a bit of cute little detail, that there seems to be like a piece missing here, but I think that's just the way the board's oriented. So, yeah, this one goes in the Commodore 60 board. Like, it doesn't look ugly. It's just not very memorable. Then, the original IBM PC, and it's called the IBM PC. Dual floppy disks. A DOS monitor. Actually, I think this is a slightly bad representation. I gotta be honest, there are IBM PCs with a far bigger and more fitting monitor. So you might see, this is just the first picture I pulled off, but there are actually pictures of the IBM PC with a bigger monitor that actually is the same size as the main this main CPU box. This is basically what I expect a computer to look. This is kind of my like default understanding of what a computer is and what it's supposed to look like. As such, it's kind of boring, but it's not terrible. So, iMediocrity it is. Okay, so we're down to these 5. I gotta say, if we're gonna talk about anything, let's talk about the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. Yes, the computer that looks better than the games that were on it. No, seriously, I love this fucking computer. Every time I see this, I think wow, this is the coolest thing ever. I would love to own one of these, just for the sake of owning one, because it honestly, even though it's not much, but the sleek black design, the fucking rainbow here, you know, there's no question in my mind. This is absolutely top tier. I love this. Then the one that came before, the Sinclair ZX80. Now, it's a very dinky looking computer. You look at this and you're thinking like, what's so goddamn special about this? And you know, again, there's a great video by the 8-Bit Guy about this particular computer. Let me just point out, the only reason I wanted to include this computer is because it's the only computer that I am aware of that doesn't have actual buttons for a keyboard. There are no buttons here. This is a fucking membrane keyboard. So, basically, this is the thing that is underneath like your average keyboard. You know, there's a conductive membrane that the actual buttons then physically press against, and that's how the computer knows what you're doing, which button you're pressing down on. But this thing, it got rid of the buttons, the mechanics. You literally only just press with your thumb on the membrane. Basically, I mean, there's probably like a layer of plastic that has like all these things on it. And you know what? How this is the this was the low-cost computer of the early 80s. This is not a fan. These are just goddamn holes. Actually, they might not even be holes. They might be completely, cosmetic. So, I mean, it is a pretty dang ugly computer. So I think it does deserve to go down here. I just wanted to include it because it just makes me smile. All right, and this is another one I love. This is the Compaq One portable computer. So in the 80s, the concept of a laptop didn't really exist. I mean, not until the very, very late 80s. And this was what a portable computer was. It's basically the size of a big suitcase. Yeah, I fucking love this. This is by Compaq. And it basically is just a PC tower flipped on its side with a tiny, tiny monitor over there. I mean, but this thing is fucking adorable. I love it. Oh boy. You know what? I don't think it looks as slick as these, but I think it does look good enough to go in the Pretty and Eggshell. All right, and then we have to look at these two. We have the Amstrad and the Onyx computer by Silicon Graphics. And sorry, this is a really bad picture of it. I could not find very good pictures of it that weren't like taken in somebody's garage or something. But yeah, so these were the, I talked about the, this is the only Unix machine here, actually, so that actually makes it very unique already. But yeah, these were the super powerhouse computers of the 1990s that were used for 3D rendering. That's what they were specifically designed for. And they had all these different gaudy color schemes. The other one was the cyan colored, I think it was called Octane or something. And that one doesn't look as nice to me. This one, I think, is actually pretty cute. But yeah, this is a big-ass computer. This is about this is like twice the size of a normal PC tower in the 90s. So yeah, this thing was a huge-ass computer at the time. And so I like it. I think it's a cute computer. So I'm going to put it all the way up here into Pretty and Eggshell. The thing is, and some of these came with their own like customized like purple, purple keyboards and mice. A lot of them didn't. A lot of them just had a boring gray mouse and keyboard. And then finally the Amstrad. I was actually thinking of having the Sony MSX machine as well here. But yeah, I for some reason I left it out. I didn't actually mean to, but I guess because I think the Amstrad just looks... I mean, look at this goofy-ass color scheme. This is just great. But I have always loved the look of Amstrad machines, and they always had these huge as the MSXs do. These were the computers that had these huge as like directional keys, and they have the friggin' cassette drive built into the computer. It is a bit of a blocky design. It's maybe not like super aesthetically pleasing, but I think this is a really, really cute computer myself. But this is another all-in-one, so I love these goofy mishmash colors things. Like this is exactly what 80s computers are like to me. They're always like completely off the wall, crazy and goofy. And that is the ranking. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, so that's the ranking. I hope you enjoyed this little stream. I'm Hanno the Honda Mäkinen. See you on the next one. Bye bye.